Hello everyone, welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming Club. Without us, oh my god, I've got my own tagline. Without us, they'd never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. So this time, it's going to be brought to you from North American Masters. And with that said, North American Masters is going to be held up here in northeast of the United States. It's a mid-Atlantic state, but it's considered part of the Northeast, being Pennsylvania, Phoenixville, Pennsylvania to be exact, held in the store Gamers Heaven in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, which is a suburb of Philadelphia. It's a very, very nice gaming store. I just had Dragon's Den there. Very accommodating. There's actually a very lively scene in Phoenixville. There's hotels all throughout the area, and those of you who are old movie buffs, if you've ever seen the movie The Blob, that's why Phoenixville is is actually historic, because it was the movie theater from The Blob with Steve McQueen. So we're really looking forward to having North American Masters. For older players, they know what Masters, for newer players, is the best of the best. And we're calling it North American Masters now because it's going to be Canada, America. There actually is a group out in Mexico, and hopefully the group in Mexico can actually come on up. So it is North America, and it is going to be invitational. But the day before, so Friday before, okay, there's going to be at least 8 spots, or more than likely 8 spots open. So where there's going to be a small a tournament, not a small tournament, a tournament, 3-game tournament the day before on Friday, and the top 8 players, okay, are going to be able to get in. And then let's say you don't make it into Masters, or you just want to see what's going on. We're actually going to have a tournament going on at the same time. So it's not like you're going to be sitting there twiddling your thumbs. You're playing in a tournament right next to Masters going on. That's going to be Grail Quest, which is getting prepared right now by Phil, the Terror of the Mid-Atlantic. And he's going to be taking over Grail Quest. We're moving it up from Durham, North Carolina, up here to the to Northeast. Because mainly, again, we have player base and things like that. Let's see. So we've got Grail Quest, we've got North American Masters. We've got a lot of things going on, and that's going to be the weekend of January 19th, 20th, and that's it. So again, this is Green Dragons Gaming. Without them, without us, they'd never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. And this was just a pickup game that I was able to get in. So I was traveling through Virginia, seeing a client, and I'm like, you know what? I'm over by Ben's house. I want to see if Ben's up for a game. And fortunately for me, he was. So I swung by his place, and we got a game in. So it's going to be Dread Elves. Yes, I know it looks like Highborn Elves there on the screen, but Dread Elves versus Dwarven Holds. And we're prepping for a tournament that's going to be Mountain Mayhem, which is going to be run in Virginia. It's the weekend of October 20th. It is still, if you want to go ahead and submit your payments and lists, it's still good to get the prepaid bonus and prepaid and early list submission. I think it's like 5 points each, so that's 10 points right there. And we're both prepping for that. He just went to Dragon's Den, and I did play him at Dragon's Den with the Ringer Army. And he wasn't too thrilled with how his Orcs and Goblins performed. And in my opinion, he's the better Dread Elf player. So he's going back to Dread Elves. And let's go ahead and let's see what he decides. He's testing things out, so please know that. And so am I. Those of you who've watched my channel before know that I like my blocks when playing Dwarven Holds. I like my organ guns. As a matter of fact, my organ guns have become feared. I mean, even when I took them to Buckeyes, it was 2 years ago. Wow, 2 years ago, they performed really, really well. And in which case, I actually had I was 4-0-1. My one came against Chaihammer. My tie came against Chaihammer, in which case we had a 10-10. And that's it. So here's how the board looks. So just going, so my army is not deployed. The reason I took this picture is he wanted first turn, so he dropped everything. So going from left to right, he's got his Dark Riders, he's got his Hydra, he's got a unit of 16 repair auxiliaries. He has the Bolt Thrower. He has the thing that looks like a Medusa on it is actually in a altar, War Altar. Then he's got another Bolt Thrower, and then he's got a big brick of Yima. That corkboard thing is a hill. Then he's got another big brick of auxiliaries. He's got another unit of Dark Riders, and then he's got another Hydra behind, followed by another repeater or Dread Reaper. They're called Dread Reapers. So I looked at this board, and I'm going, all right. He's set up on the line, and he's shooting base. So there are a lot of things that I took away from this. So this is my analysis of this game, and I love playing with Ben. Ben's a fun player to play against. I actually feel he's a good player with his Red Elves, and of his armies, it's the better army that he's with. But he does not have a close combat army. He has a shooting army. He should be peppering me to death before I have a chance to move in and get close. The bigger issue is with him up is two issues. One is my army has a lot of Vanguard. There's a lot of Vanguard. Second issue is I do have a cannon, so unless he can turn around and get rid of my cannon, he's going to be having issues. And yeah, that's basically it. So when I turn around and I deployed, here's my deployment. So this is after scouts. The big white mass there in the middle are graybeards that need to get painted. And yes, I know I have 5 warriors I have seekers that need to be painted. God, I have like over 60 seekers, and I don't play them because I'm not a huge fan of Unbreakable, which is why they are a smaller unit, but they're there. I mean, that's just me. At the same time, it is one of the strengths of Dwarven Hold, so I have to kind of get over that personally if I want to be playing this army. So I've got my brick of Seekers with a Dragon Seeker and a Champion down lower left. I got my Greybeards. I've got my my brick of Spears, that Vanguard, and I put they usually have the Flaming Banner. I put the Banner of Wisdom on there. All right, and then I've got my Rangers with my BSB in the woods, and then I've got my brick of Deep Watch with my King on Shield Bearers and a Runic Smith. So we turn around and okay, that's just, I didn't think I had the picture of the other side of the board, so I took that one. So first things first is I got the first Vanguard because he dropped first, so I maneuver my my dwarves as such, and he moves his Dark Riders as such. He's trying to get the flank. He wants to pepper me with spray. Again, that's his strength, is the shooting. I try to mitigate that using the woods. So for him to go ahead and shoot at that army, he has one good bolt thrower that can see him and shoot him. The other one getting cover, and the other one I don't think can see at all. And then if you take that on top of things, they have range. So it normally hits on 3s, range is 4s, skirmish is 5s, and then the FARS makes it a 6. So with soft cover. So I'm pretty confident in that. His auxiliaries, they normally hit on 4s, range is 5, skirmish is 6, and then 7 because of the soft cover. So I'm feeling fairly confident that I'm not going to have them shot off the board. And the same is going to be true for my Bricker Rangers. Again, he moves up his unit like as such. And that's it. So first turn, again, he wanted first turn. He moves up his 2 Hydras. He wants to pepper, or not even pepper, he wants to do wounds to those bricks of of skirmishers, which is a great idea for a breath weapon or anything that's going to be hitting automatically. And I was having a conversation with someone, we've actually seen an increase of things that hit automatically. So, you know, again, I'm not a huge fan of that, but it's a breath weapon. Makes sense, and that was the compromise compared to the old-fashioned teardrop. So with him doing 2d6 automatic hits on both units, AP1, he should do a fair number of wounds there. And he's now threatening my cannon as well. There's his mages in that unit. And he's got the little familiar. He manages to go ahead and put +2 armor on the Hydra that's in front of my my Rangers, and I screwed up. I meant to eat this spell so it doesn't get cast again, but he put up rerolls to wound, including from range attacks, up on my spears. So I'm like, okay, and I let that go because I had all. He pulled a flux card 8, so it was 7/7. I had all 7 dice. I let that go because his mage is in the unit of Yima, and I'm going to go back a picture. He miscast that spell for the rerolls to wound, and he rolled 4 dice, but it's -1 on the miscast chart, which is I probably will let it go because I would have been happy with him for getting the spell. But it's -1 because of the flux card 8. So that means it's 3, which is 2d6. He rolled 4 dice, so 2d6 strength 4 AP2 on that unit. So no armor save. Because it's not close combat, no Aegis save. So he ends up doing 8 wounds to that unit. They passed their panic test, which is what I expected. But, I'll take it. Job well done. And I'm expecting that unit to get shot up. But he still needs to hit, and then wounds. And then even the re-rolling wounds. I mean, he's got strength 3 shots, so I'm expecting to maybe lose up to 10 to 12 models, which will still be combat effective because I'll still have 2 ranks. My king is in that unit, and my king's got some nasty kit outside, which I'm not saying on YouTube right now because I'm still prepping for this tournament. And there's the BSB. So first thing is the Hydra shoots, breath weapon, kills 3 of the models. That means I still have 5 models, so you can't pick it out. Shoots with a bolt throw, with one of his repeaters, or not repeaters. Repeaters, actually, he did shoot, does nothing. Then he shoots with one of his reapers, and he kills 1 more. And then he tries single shots into the BSB. Again, normally hits on 4s due to range, 5s because skirmish, 6s. So it was a long shot, and he doesn't do enough. So over here, he kills 1 from shooting. Then he kills another 4 with the breath weapon. Or he kills 5. So a total of 6 models die. That leaves me 4, but he just can't do anything more than that. That still puts him in a precarious position. And to his credit is he did try to get out of line of sight. Okay, he did try. And in which case, what would have happened is, had he been all the way over to the left, I just would have picked up the model on the right and still had his model within line of sight. It wouldn't have made a difference. It's just he could not get his Hydra out of my line of sight. So he figured if he puts there, 6 inches away, he flees. He's got Swift Stride with that model, so you figure average is going to be 7 to 9. Let's say he rolls low, he rolls a 7. That still puts him at 13 inches, so a 10-inch charge. Granted, I have Swift Stride, but not likely. Ends up he rolls a 5, so it's an 11-inch charge. So I need 8 on dice, and I have Swift Stride against that model. But it's still for when I go to flee. I choose not to redirect. However, I do fail that charge. Now, if you look at the top of the screen, I charged his other Hydra, which also has already used his breath weapon. So I'm not worried about that anymore. Okay, and I charge that with my Deep Watch and my Runic Smith. Yes, that is a risky move to do because I fear that he's going to possibly do wounds or kill my Runic Smith. And let's see. We're going to see what happens here in just a second. Because again, he's got stomps, he's got thunder stomp, he's got 7 attacks. But this is what I have going on in that unit. The unit's got parry, but it's also weapon skill 5 against weapon skill 5. I have hatred on that one Hydra because I didn't with the Dragon Seeker. I didn't think I needed it against the other one because I'd be hitting him on 3s and wounding him on 2s. So there was that. And I'm already going in there with a static 4. Okay, so at least a static 3, and that unit's stubborn. So I'm not expecting to do horrible, but considering I have hatred, I'm strength 5 on the charge, I'm AP 3 on the charge, AP 2 normally because of the Runic Smith. Otherwise, I'm AP 1, AP 2. I'm okay with that, and I was able to get one of my buff spells off because I think I ended up having 8 dice. Oh no, I ended up having 6 dice this phase. And I yeah, I ended up it was like a 6 to 5 magic phase. So I did 3 dice for -1 to hit, and he stopped the -1 to hit, and then I did another 3 dice for -1 to wound, which he let go through. And I'm like, all right, -1 to wound. That means that he's wounding me on 4s, and that includes his stomp. And I'd still have a 5-up armor save. I've got 5-up armor, 5-up Aegis against his close combats. I'm okay with that. Shooting phase, my cannon tried to do the volley fire into his Dark Riders there next to the cannon, which I did turn the white blob to face, and meanwhile keep open, because nothing's close enough for me to be fearful of right now. But just in case you want to start getting fancy with his dancers or his altar, which is just trying to keep my options open, so I have them to try to support the cannon at this point in time. And the cannon whiffs. I rolled 4 shots and did 0 hits. I was using Ben's dice. That's all I can say. I used Warhammer's dice, and the curse of his dice came back to haunt me. However, in close combat, I did total of 3 wounds, as you can see by the little markers there. Oh, and during shooting, my Rangers did 3 wounds onto that bolt thrower. I was 1 wound away. He rolled a single 6 as a save, and I was like, ah, but oh well. So in that combat, I turn around. I did 3 wounds. He did 1 wound. That included his stomps, and so figure 3 wounds, 3 ranks, banner, and a charge to 1 wound. He's down by 7. He's only leadership 9, but he's outside 12 inches, so he's back to leadership 8. And BSB is nowhere to, well, regardless, he doesn't have enough leadership itself. So he breaks, and I pursue. I run him down and overrun into the War Machine. So I'm able to now charge the Reaper, the Dark Reaper, and that's that. So we both know that War Machine is going to be dying very quickly. And because of the hill, and the way I maneuvered my models up, I'm now protected with my BSB's unit from everything except for the auxiliaries, which I'm okay with. So during his turn, again, that War Machine is going to die. He charges into that War Machine, and he does only 3 wounds. And had he not done the 2 2 wounds during his shooting phase onto that model, it would still be there. And if that model's still there, it's then a bad day for him, because then the Greybeards just go in, mop up, and even though he has a chance to possibly kill the cannon after that, it's not likely. So I was, you know, oh well, as I say, c'est la vie. And I didn't think he could wheel, but looking at this picture now in retrospect, yeah, I did screw that up. So that's why when he did just simply spin him on that axis, he was out of line of sight, because I see where his center is now. So that was a mistake on my part. His other charge was this charge here. He tried the bomb charge. He tried a 10-inch charge, but it was rerollable. And he gave the unit Swift Stride. So they failed twice. And during my turn, because I had turnaround and I killed the War Machine, I did the post-combat pivot. Are we still on his turn? Yeah, we're still on his turn. He rallies, and here's how the board looks. So he rallies the one Hydra. He's getting ready to take on those Seekers, and he has his auxiliaries and everything else. He's ready to keep peppering that unit. Unfortunately, he doesn't do a single wound against the unit of the Vengeance Seekers, because again, at this point in time, he's now needing 5s or 6s to hit and 4 or 5s to wound, and so again, I'm doing okay. I'm okay with that so far. Over here, he manages to do actually 4 wounds between between magic and shooting up against that unit, and then he does another wound. So this is during the shooting phase. So total of 5 wounds, which at 26 models, not enough for a panic test. Because that is actually just shy of 20%. As I said, he kills my cannon. The Greybeards don't care because they're fearless. And during my turn, as I said, I killed the one War Machine. I do a combat pivot. I charge the auxiliaries in the flank, and he does a smart move, which is why he was okay with not positioning myself or himself for the incoming dwarves at this point in time. So he flees with that unit, and I managed to I redirect and I get the charge into his EMA. I needed a 9 or a 10 on 2 dice. I rolled boxcars. I rolled outside the box, and I got in. And he's like, "All right, well, that's probably going to be game." I turn around, and I had again -1 to wound on them once again, and basically mop up that unit. He's hitting me on 4s, and he's wounding me on 4s, where I'm hitting him on 4s and wounding him on 2s, and I have AP 3. He puts all 3 attacks into my Runic Smith, which I think is a smart play on his part to just try to take out that character. He fails to hit with all 3, and I pursue. They break. I pursue. I catch them, and then I manage to do my overrun into his altar. So at the end of the day, here's the picture. So looking back at this game, I did poor positioning with my Greybeards. I rolled poorly with my charges on my Seekers, but I was okay with that. And just being able to play the zoning and the keep away with my spears and his Yima, which I was okay if his Yima got into my spears. I really, really was, because I did have hatred on that unit. Only winning him on 4s that first round of combat, or I'm hitting on 4s, winning on 4s, where he'd be hitting me on 3s if he uses great weapons, 2 if he uses halberds. Either wounding me on 3s or wounding me on and no matter what, he's either winning on 4s or winning on 3s, because I think they're only strength 3. So I'm okay going toe-to-toe, but I was still able to zone and kind of play chicken. I just didn't want to get the altar in there and Yima. At the same time, if he just got Yima by itself, I'd be challenging him out the wazoo, going left and right. Let's see. For my opponent, I feel he should have stayed back. I feel that he didn't have to be up on the line. Again, he had the Wandering Familiar. I also think Divination, rather than he was using Alchemy. I think Divination would be a better play on his part. But had he not stayed on line, forced me to come to him, force it into a shootout, that's what his army was designed for. Unfortunately for my opponent, my army was designed for the exact opposite, with a couple nasty little tricks. So, end of the day, it was a victory Dwarven hold. We called it at that point in time. My minor, I only got a chance to roll one time for my minors, and that was it. So it was top of turn 3. We called it. So victory Dwarven holds. For me, the MVPs is going to be the Dark Riders, the one that took out the cannons, and for Dwarven holds, it's the Runic Smith. And the reason why the Runic Smith versus the Deep Watch is him wounding me on 4s is, to me, very pivotal against the 2 combats that unit was in. Because if he was able to start getting that combat res with the 3s that he was rolling, and there were 3s, that is the biggest difference of the game. So that's why the Runic Smith is my MVP. Not because of what he was able to prevent, and the unit itself was then able to do the heavy lifting. And that's it. If you have any questions or concerns, please definitely go ahead and post. And until next time, happy gaming!